Greetings, film freaks. We are the Podcorn Kernels. Join us as we discuss the hard and often indigestible truths that are at the center of the fluffy and delicious world of cinema. What's poppin', people? Welcome to the Podcorn Kernels Podcast. My name is Harry, and joining me in your ear holes is Adam. Say hello, Adam.
Wellity, wellity, wellity. Look at how the tables have turned and the turns have tabled. A classic host switcheroo. Let's see how you do.
On today's episode, we will be discussing the highs and lows of Season 1. But for tonight and tonight only, I'm in the driver's seat. How do you feel about that, Adam?
Confident. I'm more than happy to be your passenger.
I don't like it. It feels like incest.
Yeah, it's odd here. Hearing you doing the intro and being the host, it's making me feel uncomfortable in my own skin. But I think this is a good idea. Give listeners another look.
Let's try and just get through it as quick as possible. I've got some questions for you.
Oh, good. Let's have them.
The first one, there was 40 original songs to support the synopsis. Some of them were parody by nature. If you could pick a favourite, do you have a favourite original song from the podcast, Season 1?
I have several that come to mind. All of them are absolute bangers as far as I'm concerned. Any given day I'll wake up and there'll be a different song in my head, but special mention's got to go to Get Out after years of claiming that I can rap based on absolutely nothing except enjoying the medium. I finally got to flex my rapping muscles. Good luck to you, Leo Grand. It was a real family effort for you and from you and your family, and I just love it. It's such a good song, and me and you do a mad sort of the street style rap.
You spat words in that as well, didn't
you? Anything I can rap, I love. And Phantom Thread is it's just a banging tune that always randomly enters my headspace.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
So good. It's such a tune. That's probably the one that enters my head the most. Out of absolutely nowhere, I'll be doing everyday mundane tasks and that song will hit and then I can't shift it. I just love it. Yeah.
I think it's worth mentioning as well that when you do rap, you really embody the character.
Oh, yeah.
They don't see this,
but
you do all of the nose touching, the shoulder movements. You're literally in the street and there's a camera on you.
Yeah, every rap I do, it could be about rapping from the perspective of a fridge. It could be rapping about dangerous middle-aged white people. Every one I do, I pretend I'm in 8 Mile battling Eminem.
Yeah, you literally think you're in 8 Mile.
Yeah, the hood's up. Like you say, that I embody the character. I feel it. I live it. I breathe it. Yeah,
it's highly entertaining.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I had to pick one, I think just because of how much it comes into my headspace, it has to be Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread
has to be. Yeah.
Should we play it?
Yeah.
Let's just give it a spin.
Yeah.
Alma, make me some tea, so you can hurt me. Let me tailor your soul. I want complete control, famous for dress design. Make my health decline, mommy mushroom girl, you make me hurt. Mommy mushroom girl, you make me hurt. Butter.
Yeah, not to blow our own trumpets, I really do enjoy that song.
It's a belter, mate.
It's a belter.
I honestly believe that should be played in a stadium in front of thousands of people as an absolute anthem.
I mean, we can love our own songs. It's not arrogant because they are all jokes.
Yeah, and they are all created. I don't know anyone else that does that watches a film and is like, shall we make a song up about that film? I think it's one of our most unique selling points. I personally don't know of anyone else that's doing that, and I love it. And as someone who never thought they had any musical talent, I've learned I can write a lyric. I've known you've always had musical talent, and it's great to collaborate with you and see what our minds come up with.
We've had some friction, haven't we?
Oh yeah, we have.
We butt heads a lot when it comes to song stuff. Sometimes I have a go at Adam because I think he's overcomplicating it. He pulls a face after I've done something that I think's good, and it cuts me deep.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they just merge, you get Alma, make me some tea.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's one that I would happily listen to over and over again because it's already in my headspace. It's one that I would love to actually finish the whole song.
It'd be great. We should do that.
Yeah. That's something to do in the future.
Maybe that could be some bonus content if we get enough kudos and enough attention off of the general populace. We could just complete the song.
That's a dream.
Imagine it was shit. As a whole song, imagine it was crap.
It couldn't be. I mean, it's based on the film, and, well, the film's all right, I suppose.
It makes me pull that face and put my head back and forth, just go, like squinting my eyes like Richard Gere, because I'm really into it.
Yeah, it is a pure belter. Do you have a favourite original song?
There are many. I mean, if in terms of laughter, I could not stop laughing when you first proposed Straight Story. So when we did Straight Story, it was a really beautiful song. Do you remember? We took it real seriously, like we were real serious boys. And then it didn't sound right. Something was wrong. And then I have an omnichord, and I did two or three chords, and you just went, please don't die on me, bro. And it was this really weird, over-sexualized song that Adam had instigated about a brother trying to find his brother. So, well, it sounds like so he can fuck him.
But just to clarify, it's about an old brother finding another old brother who's dying and making peace.
There's a lot of old brothers in it.
Yeah, and I somehow made it
promiscuous.
Yeah, kind of Europop, Eurotrash, sexy Belgian vibes.
Well, Disney did it with subliminal messaging, with boners on screen and stuff.
Please don't die on me, bro. I just want you to know, as I age, I'm getting slower. Hold on, I'll come on my mower. I am Alvin and you are the Lyle. Forget the past, let's go in style. Red says stop. Stop. Green says go.
But if I was to give you a genuine answer, I'd probably say Nope. For me, Nope bangs.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love it, man.
Okay.
I love it. It's got that reggae UB40.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Nope.
Yeah? So out of those two, would it be Nope?
If I was in a car and I wanted to listen to a song, it would be Nope.
Don't look up if you want to survive. You can't deny what is hidden in the sky. You can't look away, try as you might, from the things astray into your side. Behind the cloud lies a friend, so engaging. Don't look in the eye of beasts with raging. Up if you want to survive.
You know, but the thing I've always wanted people to get from these songs is that we're not serious. Like, there's a bit of seriousness there because we do want it to still have at least a 6 out of 10 sound quality, because that's the best you can probably do on a podcast with mono and stuff. And we don't have the world's best equipment, and we're not world-class musicians. So just trying to produce something that's what's palatable. That's always been the goal. But I've never wanted people, like, I think in the early days someone mentioned to you about, don't really understand why you're doing songs if it's a film podcast. It's like, oh my god, like, it's to support the synopsis, but it's also just to break it in, be lighthearted. I didn't ever want people, the first thing they hear is like, these guys are really bad musicians. I wanted them to think these are hilarious.
Right.
That was the goal.
I'm going to tell you this. No one's thinking that. And that one dickhead that said he didn't know about the songs, I told him I don't want him to listen anymore.
That's cold. I mean, we can't be sore losers.
No, but I didn't say that. I was like, thanks for your feedback. But inside, I was like, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about.
Them early episodes, it's hard to obviously, you can't really tell people. Them early ones, we're still finding our feet. It was so long ago. Exactly
that, yeah.
So it's developed more now. It was because there's always nerves involved in the early doors, and it was probably hard to get across what the whole idea was.
I think people now...
We'll still be doing that for the next year or two.
I think we've got people that are part of our vibe tribe now. I think I've had a lot of positive feedback from our lovely listeners saying that they love the songs and certain ones resonate with them.
That's validating.
Yeah, I love to hear it. And we put a lot of effort into this podcast, and the song, certainly, that takes a lot of creative work behind the scenes. It's not we just turn up on the day and spout the first thing that comes out. There is a lot of thought that goes to it. Yeah. And you're right, a lot of them, they're not to be taken as serious songs. Some of them are pretty serious, but it's just about having a good laugh.
I'd say like the Brokeback one has got a real element of sincerity to it. It can happen sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I think when it's a film that means a lot to us, that's normally when the more serious, like you want to do the film justice by doing a song that sort of resonates and supports the synopsis in the best way we can do it. Yeah. But I love the variations between the songs that we come up with. Just love it.
Hell yeah. Next question. This might be a tough one, but I'm going to say it. Favourite film? Of all the ones we reviewed in season 1, what was your favourite?
See, thankfully, this question's made easier by the fact that my favourite film of all time was featured in this season, and that's Forrest Gump.
Okay.
But saying that, I do, in my hearts of hearts, know that Seven and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest are objectively better films. So in a sense, it is tricky because they are 3 of my all-time classics. I love them all, but I would say Forrest Gump just about pips it. It's my most watched and most beloved film.
That's good.
So yeah, and the 3 of them, I think those 3 episodes on Forrest Gump, 7 and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I think they're personally 3 of our finest efforts, because when you love a film and you speak about it, I think that sort of passion outpours. I think you can't help but be really passionate and articulate yourself better if it's a film you absolutely adore.
It's worth saying as well that I find them the most nerve-wracking episodes.
Totally.
Because when you're trying to sell something or trying to persuade someone that you think this film is brilliant, it's so much more nerve-wracking. I have a much better time doing something like Holy Motors or Black Phone, because I'm just like, for me, they're shit. Yeah. And I'm not nervous to share negative opinions, which is weird. But when it comes to positive opinions, I'm like, I need them to know how much this film means to me or why I think it's brilliant.
Well, exactly. If it's a film you absolutely adore, you give it 8 or upwards, rate it really highly, seen it so many times. It's hard to sort of restrict what you want to say in a sort of 40-minute to an hour runtime, because me and you have and can speak about the films we both dearly love together for hours and hours, easily, picking it apart, talking about every little inch of it, every little beat of the film, all of it, directors, actors, everything. It's hard to sort of minimize that and just be like, okay, just give me 3 likes about the film you fucking love, or find a dislike about the film you think is perfect. What would you consider your favourite film?
I'd say One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah. It came late in the season, but out of all of them, I'd say my favourite film for season 1, pound for pound, as history goes, and it's the oldest out of all of the best ones, I'd say. So 7 and say Forrest Gump. Obviously, you've always liked Forrest Gump a bit more than me. I loved it as a kid, but I definitely prefer my One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But I think that's the best film I've seen.
Pip 7.
Yeah. 7's great. But I mean, 7's an incredible film. I always love 7, but One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest speaks to so much more.
Yes, it does.
And it's Jack Nicholson. I would say he is better than Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
So definitely One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Sweet.
Least favourite film?
Oh, that's the easiest question.
I think I can guess what you'd say.
Well, it's obviously Holy Motors, isn't it? It's pretentious hot shit that pisses me off. Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah.
Fucking Leos Carax. Cunt.
That fucking bastard, man.
Recap. Go.
I feel fucking violated.
Go,
I feel like I can smell it through the mic.
You fart all the time, do it.
Holy Motors, filling quotas, completing tasks. That film, like, it's well documented on this podcast that I watch every film twice. I say it nearly every episode. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, there you have it. I watch every film twice for this podcast. And Holy Motors was the biggest steaming pile of hot turds that I've seen. Halfway through the first one, I was already pissed off that I was going to have to watch it again. Nonsensical, like just nonsense that was so up its own arse. And what bothers me the most is it's so highly regarded by professional critics.
I don't get that.
And people love it. I'm like, get your head out your own anus.
Did we invite people to offer their opinion as to why they think it's good? Because we should. We should let people message and say, this is good because of this, it's good because of that, and just see if, because I honestly think I could destroy that argument.
We encourage anyone
to
reach out and share their thoughts, whether you agree or disagree with us. We don't mind, but I think we did offer, say, like, if someone wants to get in touch and explain to us why they think Holy Motors is good, we would love to hear it. And then I would probably meticulously take them down and really sort of assassinate their character for loving such a piece of shit.
I remember we made it impossible for them to be able to to beat us in the argument because Leos Carax can't explain his own films.
Yeah.
So how can they explain them?
If a director, when asked about a film, is like, "Oh, what does this film mean?" He's like, "Oh, it's not my job to tell you." It's like, I don't know. It's like I don't have to tell you. It's like, well, why should I?
Yeah.
Why should I have to watch your steaming pile of doo-doo?
Always with the steaming pile.
I can only see hot shit when I think of Holy Motors. But yeah, I don't know about you. I don't know if that's the worst film you saw, because I remember I think we both gave it a 2, which is pretty damning.
It is damning. It is, but I think the enjoyment I got from hating on it made it better for me than Everything Everywhere All at Once. Ooh. As the time's gone by since reviewing Everything Everywhere All at Once, the more I see an injustice in the Oscars it won. And I think it's bollocks.
Recap. For me, I wrote this down. This whole film for me is a virtual reality experience for someone wanting to experience Alzheimer's.
I really hate it.
Yeah, I know, man.
Really, really hate it.
And you're not alone.
It gave me a headache.
I know. You didn't. You're not a fan. I understand and I respect your opinion.
My partner, she's a person who loves very deep, enriching, heartbreaking movies, long films. 7 minutes in, she's like, what the hell is this?
It is one of those films, if you don't immediately buy into what is going on, you're just going to have an awful time. You just are.
It's just random nonsense.
Yeah. I mean,
I know what it speaks to, the destruction and butterfly effect that can come from not accepting your daughter's sexuality. Boom. That's told to you in the first 5 minutes. The rest of it, I was just exhausted.
I must admit, I enjoy the film.
No.
I do enjoy it. I do not think it's anywhere near worthy of the critical acclaim and winning as many awards as it did, especially in the same year of Banshees of Inisherin.
Recap.
I think if I had an Irish accent, I'd be a lady killer.
Oh,
not as in murdering women, but as in like the chirp, the chat. I think the charisma that comes with an Irish accent. I think, yeah.
I reckon you'd plough them fields. Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you think, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Was just lost out so many times to a far inferior film. And I know, but again, people absolutely adore Everything Everywhere All at Once. But I do think there's an element of fear of missing out because everyone's ramming it down your throat how amazing it is. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I have to like this film. I can't be seen to be other. Now, I like the film. It's not what people say it is. It's not this groundbreaking, incredible feat of cinema. It's not. It's good throwaway entertainment that I've seen 3 times now and I'll probably never touch again.
Well, it's pure spectacle, minus storyline, minus plot, and that's for me is Marvel. So that's probably why I hate it, and I don't like the parallel universe shit. It might explain as well why I've got beefs with the likes of Inception and stuff, because I'm just like, Matrix. I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, tired, Dad.
Yeah, I'm done with it. Favourite episode and why?
That's like asking me to choose my favourite child.
Come on now.
Because I love them all. As separate episodes, I think every single one of my little babies has got something to offer. Mm-hmm. If I had to pick one, which I do, I think 7 stands out as one of our best. Mm-hmm. It was a joy to discuss a film we both adore, and it was fun to let my dark side come out.
Okay.
I took great pleasure in...
Gutting you, boy.
I took great pleasure in telling you what I'd like to do to my arsehole neighbours, and the perfect balance of fear and laughter in your eyes and how you reacted to it. It was just great. It's something I look back.
You talk about cutting the pupil and the black of their pupil. They cry the black of their pupil out their eye.
Yeah, so
that was brilliant.
For context, within the episode, we started talking about sort of like retribution and justice and vengeance, all these lovely topics that Seven brought to the table. And at the time, I was having real conflict and drama with my arsehole neighbours, and I shared with the group that I would quite like to have them bounded and cut their pupil with a razor blade so that artistically the black of their pupil would run down their face.
Francis, you really should see somebody.
Yeah, it is troubling, but yeah, when I think back of that episode, the song was a great song. The episode just flowed so well, and spoiler alert, it's the first perfect scored film of our podcast, so it'll always be a special one for me.
That's boom.
Yeah.
Recap.
Would you rate 7 out of 10, good sir?
10 plus.
So,
it's first ever 10 plus.
I don't know how to score 10 plus. We'll go 10.
You just put a plus.
Okay.
Whatever it is, if you give it a 7, it'd be a 17 plus.
Well,
It's a way I've found to manipulate your score.
And I'm struggling with that deeply. But part of me wanted to give it a 7 because the film's called Seven. That's it. That's it. That's how my simple mind works.
Well, you could give it a golden 7, so this could be a golden 17 plus, which
No.
has never been done.
It's a stone cold 10 for me as well.
The first
It's the first
20.
Yeah.
20 plus.
20 plus. So
Hey, because you've gone 10,
yeah,
I'll tell you what, mate. I'll remove the plus.
okay. That's better for me.
I put
'cause
the plus because I thought you were going to say 9.
my
And I was like,
my
no.
busy head was like, how do I incorporate this curveball you've thrown at me? But now I don't have to, and I appreciate that.
We gotta create or do some post editing and insert something to hit this 20
How about
milestone.
Oh, it's such a perfect film.
I'm glad I watched it with you, which we didn't. It's such a perfect film. I want to cut your pupil.
Yeah, I mean,
I think if I was to offer up my favourite episode and why, it probably might be Holy Motors.
Really?
Because we were just two rabid dogs let off a leash. And it was, you know, when like we were bringing down like an injured elephant with a pack of lions.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was like Holy Motors was an elephant going through an urban fucking jungle.
Yeah.
And we just went, "Row!" And we just took it down.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful contrast of what we do on this podcast. Your favourite episode is one that we absolutely hated and tore apart. Mine is one that we absolutely loved and adored. So both of our favourites is one where we've had a shared and similar experience of either taking something down or putting something on a pedestal. I think that's lovely.
Least favourite episode and why?
I think we both know the answer. This is going to reveal behind the curtain a little bit, but it's one that we've lost many hours of sleep over, many stresses over.
I didn't think you'd pick that one.
Well,
because I know you championed it for what it said.
The episode in question is The Fighter. It caused great stress trying to solve a noise issue, which is your department, and I feel for you having to go over and try and solve an issue. I listened to that episode. I listened to about 6 versions of it. And by the end of it, you know, when you say a word so many times, it now no longer sounds like a word or loses all meaning. That's what happened with The Fighter. And I stand by it. It is a great episode. If you, the listener, haven't listened to it, go and have a listen.
Don't.
No, do.
No, don't.
But hearing it so much decreased its value. And it's worth saying, you're the tech guy of the whole operation. The problem with it was a sound issue, wasn't it?
So the power supply of the laptop was left on the table, and what that did is it basically put electrical interference into the recording, and that's not something you can remove. You can't use noise reduction. You can't highlight it, delete it. It's there. It's recorded. It's done. And trying to find a way to dampen it without making us sound like we were in a submarine.
Yeah.
And I was it's the amount of times I messaged you and I just went, we just never air it. It's just shit. Like, I want people had already heard some episodes that were much clearer, really a good sound. You know, even the early doors, some days we were just lucky, but we were still learning. And I didn't want to put it out. I really didn't. And do you know what? If we reviewed the film today, I'd give it 3 points less just because the fact that we recorded it and it sounded shit.
Oh,
No, obviously I wouldn't. That's just cruel.
no, I don't.
It's haunting, isn't it?
It's one of those things. Through the process of doing this podcast, you learn as you go, and that was the first time we realised that could be a problem. But it was at a time where we had to make the most of the time we had to do this, so we needed to put the episode out. I mean, I never got any feedback from anyone going, that episode was dodge, sort your fucking sound out. And as someone who consumes a hell of a lot of podcasts, I can tell you even the top dogs have episodes where they're talking over each other, their Zoom connection's awful, it sounds like they're in a tin can, there's people passing by in the pub, in the street, and it is distracting. And compared to that, mate, I still think it's sound. But for the sheer volume, the sheer the stress,
the hours,
friction that episode caused, that's got to be my least favourite, but a great episode.
Yeah. Well, if you ever tune into Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast, wherever it is, he don't give a shit.
No.
He just throws a mic on wherever he is. He could be in a hall, he could be on a train. It's noise. It's terrible. And it's just him having a chat.
Yeah.
And then that made me feel a little better, but I thought, I'm not Bill Burr.
Yeah.
We don't have that luxury.
But in our defence, 1 out of 40 episodes, the sound is a bit off. I don't think that's too bad going, man. I think that's that, you know, when we know we won't make that mistake again. And now we're so committed to making sure that our sound checks, everything sounds good before we go, so we don't put listeners through any unnecessary disturbance.
Mm-hmm. I want to open a door that not a lot of people would know about, but I'll say a word to you. Tell me what you think.
Oh.
What do you make of the word throwaway?
So, throwaway.
Throwaway.
The classic throwaway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, revealing behind the curtain. We started this endeavour a good few years ago. Then COVID and personal situations changed, so we had to put it on the back burner. Then one night when we was out having a drink, we was like, why don't we try doing the podcast again? And we was like, yeah, let's do it. So in that period where we decided to give this another go, give it a proper effort this time, where we were in a position where we decided we were going to just record loads of throwaway episodes. And they were basically like, for sport fans out there, it was like spring training or
Dress
pre-season
rehearsal.
training. Yeah, dress rehearsal. It was just, well, we'll just do it just to get match fit again. And the initial plan was to do about 40 throwaway episodes, wasn't it? We was like, we'll record 40 throwaway episodes just for us.
Yeah.
And the first few films were like, I don't think anybody would want to tune in and listen to an episode on Popstar Never Stopping or Your Highness. But they were these throwaway episodes. They really allowed us to sort of hone in on what we wanted to do. Because whether you're listening to this thinking it's a bit self-gratifying, it's a bit self-sucky, we work bloody hard on this thing. And we've put a lot of hours and a lot of time of our lives into delivering something that we're proud of, and we work really hard to try and give our listeners something to enjoy. And through doing that, we did throwaways. We tried to really sort of learn what we wanted to do, form an identity. And I think, without them, I don't think we'd be where we are today.
Yeah, I agree. There was so what we did initially, so the podcast, I would say, started about 3 years ago, but nothing went live until January 28th. So it's been live about 9 months.
Yeah.
But we worked on it for 3 years, acquiring the equipment, juggling it between jobs and work hours. So it's really difficult. It's one of them sort of classic dad podcasts. And it took a long time, but we built a backlog. And if we hadn't have built a backlog we never had a live date in mind. I was much more pro go live sooner than Adam. Adam wanted to prepare and take a lot longer, and I was getting impatient. So we built a backlog, and if we hadn't have done the backlog, due to some like personal things that happened in our lives, we would have gone live and then gone offline.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't have maintained the pace of recording and releasing because of stuff that was going on. And I think when we first went live, do you remember how many we had backlogged, ready to go? It must have been about 20.
Yeah, it was there or thereabouts for sure. Yeah,
it's about 20. So we built a backlog. That's why if you listen, you might find little differences between the start of the podcast and the end. But we didn't. You know what? We actually, some would have been new recordings at the front or old recordings at the back.
Yeah,
because just because of planning ahead and thinking about, well, we just did a modern film, now we can do an old one. We just did a comedy, now we do a drama. So there a lot of thought goes into that, and we've never wanted to be labelled as a horror podcast or be labelled as a Bond podcast, and that means you can't actually delve into them worlds.
No,
well, horror you can, it's different, but we could never do a Bond film, unless it was just bonus content. We could never do a Marvel film or anything. I think the most franchisey we did was Prey, but that was the prequel, the earliest of the whole genre, and it stood alone from the other ones. It wasn't related. I think that's our worst performing episode. Prey. So go listen to Prey.
Yeah, we pray that you go and listen to Prey.
That was a great song.
Yeah, that episode deserves a little bit more love. It was one of the earlier recordings.
We did it for them as well.
Yeah,
it weren't for us.
Yeah, we don't fucking like that sort of shit.
Don't want to watch that bollocks. We did it because it was coming out, and we thought these lazy fuckers want to stream it, didn't they?
We do love you though, lazy fuckers. If you're a lazy fucker that listens, we do still love you. But yeah, listen to Prey. It deserves your ears.
Come now.
Yeah.
What have you learnt? I suppose we just covered a lot of it, but
well, consistency is key. I think even you touched on it earlier, and without going into too much specifics and into too much detail, there's been certain hurdles and obstacles for us to overcome while putting out this podcast, and we've persevered. Like you mentioned, some of the backlog of episodes that might not have seen the light of day as soon as they did, we had to use them, but we were still able to put out a product. And I've learned that is key. I've seen other indie podcasts that sort of arrived on the scene when we did, and unfortunately they're already no longer able to keep up, and that's something I never wanted to happen to us. So I've learned that make the most of what time we do have to do this, work hard when we can, persevere, keep the passion, keep the fire burning. So that's the main thing. And also, complete strangers are more reliable than our loved ones. Yes, that is very true. Doing this, we've got friends and family that we love, and they supposedly love us. When they heard that we were doing a film podcast, they was like, "Oh, that's amazing! I can't wait to listen." We went live, reached out to these people that we used to think we mattered to them, and it's like, "Oh, we're live, guys. Do you want to listen?" "Oh yeah, I'll do it. I'm busy." And then you stop asking people that you think that you would have their support by default, and you just learn that you don't. And then you get feedback from complete strangers from the other side of the world, just going, "I love it. Oh, I listened to this episode today. Oh, you guys are so funny. Oh, that song was amazing." And you're like, "Thank you. Blood's not thicker than water, is it?" Thank you, complete stranger. You could walk past me in the street and I would not know it's you. Yeah. But my friends, my peoples that I've known all my life growing up, they won't touch me. They won't touch this podcast, and that hurts. It does sting a little bit. Yeah. The ones the friends and family that will be listening to this, that do support us, that do listen, we love you. Thank you so much for your continued support. And people we don't know, thank you to you as well, because you're the reason we do this. I don't have any family or friends that have consistently listened. No. Partner occasionally dabbles in it, but it sends her to sleep, which I don't know is a good or a bad thing. I'd like to just put the blinkers on and think, are we comforting her? Yeah. Not that we're boring her. And I think you have a nice voice. Oh, thanks, man. I've learnt one more thing as well, and doing this podcast is my absolute favourite thing to do. It's just, I just do love it. I do love it. I do want to see it grow exponentially for season 2. I do want to see them numbers just drive, because nothing gets you more into it than when you're seeing the result. So it's not that the numbers have been bad; they've been really good. Like how well we do. We've put enough in, and I think we were very, very pleasantly surprised when we went live how much we started to get. Yeah, and that was great. But then it sort of stays at a certain number. You get used to your numbers. That's it. Yeah, and then you're like, okay, but now how do we grow it? We want to keep a level of secrecy, so we're not going to divulge the actual figures. But like you said, we came storming out of the gates. Like we were both taken aback by the positive response and the numbers of downloads when we first started. And it's sort of, we're getting consistent numbers, but you're right, that's our aim for season 2. That's why we're doing season 1 now, for people that have been with us on this journey and maybe they've listened to every single episode, maybe they've listened to 1 and 2, but we're not a podcast that every episode begs you to listen, begs you to download. But at the end of the season, I think we can ask for your support, dear listener. I think so. I'm proud of us for never being, "Hey guys, like, subscribe" all the time, because for me, that kills my investment in anything. Yeah. If I go to watch a history documentary and just as it's about to start, it cuts to a guy and goes, "Real sorry to bother you guys, but if you just like, subscribe," I'm like, "Oh, fuck off." Yeah. We like to think that our content's good enough to be consumed by film lovers, cinephiles of all ages. Maybe not all ages, because there's some questionable topics and language, but we think if you love film, we do think you'll love our podcast. So for season 2, if you enjoy what we do, spread the word. Share the podcast, get more people's ears on it, and it would mean the world to us. Yeah, and the reasons we decided to have a season 2, do it in seasons and segments, is because we don't want the quality to drop. So if you just had an endless, it never ends, 1,000+ episodes, and there's no segregation, it could dip in terms of quality. But also, you need to be able to implement new ideas and refresh the whole process, and just rebuild a little. And it's good to have little breaks. I've always championed it. I've always wanted it to be seasons, and it's given me huge gratification to be able to say I actually finished something. Yeah. To be able to say I can put a bow in season 1 and say I did a 40-episode season 1 podcast about films. Yeah. Excellent. Now I'm going to start 2, but there is actually a completed series out there. Yeah. Completely free, finished, whether you like us or not. It's cool to be able to give something free. We haven't just suddenly got the ump because our figures weren't good and just stopped mid-season. Like for the people out there that do listen, there's, like you say, there's a clear end to this season. There'll be a clear start to the second season. Without giving too much away, we're excited for what we've got in store in season 2. And to be able to draw a line in the sand and start a new chapter is exciting. And hopefully we get promotion like Wrexham. Yeah, I believe we will.
Yeah, we will.
Hmm.
Favourite What the Plot?
Now. Now.
Now, you hear me now.
Now, this was a tough one because What the Plot, if you are listening for the first time, it's a game where Harry comes up with a film idea and then I flesh it out, give it the name of the film, cast it, choose a director, all that lovely stuff, and then we make a trailer for it right at the end. The process of it is great fun, and choosing a single one was difficult. Gave it a lot of thought. We had a few beers last night. That's how I fell asleep on your sofa. I was thinking about what is my favourite What the Plot. And after much thought and deliberation, it would have to be Answers from Above.
That one.
No.
Oh.
No. But the title would suggest. It's this What the Plot featured in our Let the Right One In episodes. It's about a B-list actor that attempts suicide and ends up in a bar with deceased celebrities who died from taking their own lives or in other questionable ways.
Is that McConaughey's dad, that one?
Yeah, it was directed by David Lynch, and starring in it would have been Barry Keoghan, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Matthew McConaughey playing his dad. I liked it so much when you proposed that What the Plot idea that while we was recording the episode, I started writing a fucking script. I started jotting it down. You even stopped and was like, "Are you actually writing this?" I was like, "I fucking am, mate. It's a great idea." It's not necessarily my favourite What the Plot trailer, but it's certainly my favourite What the Plot idea because it's something that's right up my street. Sort of that someone descending into another world and talking to icons that have died mysteriously or through tragically by taking their own life through depression or addiction, whatever it may be. I just think that's my sort of forte.
Recap.
So yeah, I'd have this as a David Lynch film starring Barry Keoghan, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Matthew McConaughey, and I'd have the film titled Answers from Above. All my life, I wanted to be an actor. I've paid my dues, made my sacrifices, and cut ties in a bid to be a success. Years of taking blow after blow after blow, and I still haven't caught a break. I'm done trying. I'm done, man.
What are you doing here, kid? I swear people coming here are getting younger and younger. It's all an illusion, man. Fame, money, women, cars. Ain't gonna make you happy. You're gonna make you happy.
Money, fame,
From director David Lynch, starring Barry Keoghan, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Matthew McConaughey. Answers from Above, coming soon.
fame, 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 fame.
We got more dialogue. Didn't realise there's another minute of song. I'm exhausted.
I might be putting you on the spot here, but do you know what episode that was in?
Yes, the Let the Right One In episode.
Let the Right One In episode.
So
So if you want to go listen to that plot, it's in Let the Right One In.
Yeah, episode number 3, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Early doors, yeah. But
Very
yeah,
early doors.
it was a great idea. And listen, I always applaud you for your being able to come up with what the plot ideas. But that one was really great. I loved it.
Well, some of them were just pure on the spot, ridiculous stuff.
Some of them ones have been your finest work, good sir.
Mm. Yeah, and we had to adapt a few times, change it up. But I was definitely scraping the barrel towards the end.
Do you have a favourite what the plot idea? I mean, I'd be interested
What's
to
the
know.
one? Is it Charlize Theron that falls from the plane?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I like that one because that was based on a true story about a woman on a flight over Russia or Ukraine that actually survived free fall from a cruising altitude.
Madness.
Yeah, terrifying.
Recap.
I prefer Wings of Fate.
I do too.
Wings of Fate's a good one.
Yeah, Wings of Fate, directed by Catherine Bigelow and starring Charlize Theron.
From Oscar-winning director Catherine Bigelow. And starring Oscar winner Charlize Theron. See the phenomenal true story critics are calling a tour de force of survival against all odds. Wings of Fate, Coming soon.
I liked that one. I think because I think we had a conversation about how a fart made a plane turn around, or some guy went for a dump.
Yeah.
And that's a true story. That a British Airways flight, some guy had the worst flatulence and dropped his load in a toilet. And Adam didn't believe me at first when I said they had to turn the plane around and land it.
Yeah. Poo Patrol.
Yeah, I think that might have been the same episode. But yeah, I did enjoy that one because of the trailer that was attached to it as well after the whole explanation. So, do you have a favourite trailer?
Again, this what consumed my bedtime, nighttime thoughts last night when I'd had several pints of the gorgeous Guinness. Yeah. And it's one word, my friend, elves.
Oh, God.
This trailer was a madness. It featured on our episode on Fritz Lang's M.
Oh, God.
And the trailer features me genuinely trying to act as Olivia Colman, as a journalist. And you screaming the most guttural screech from the deepest depths of your soul. It just, again, like this whole episode's just to sort of show you behind the scenes. When we do, when Harry comes up with the plot idea, we sit, we think of dialogue, or we think of ideas of how we can create the trailer. And I remember for this one, I was like, okay, so we're going to see these elves as these really nasty sort of beings, not the cutesy Santa's little helper type things. I was like, I want you to like do a scream, but then I want you to do a scream later, but the second scream, I want you to really give it. And he looked at me across the room and he's like, oh yeah, I'll do it. What happened next, I could not believe. Like, I thought, well, within 10 minutes, there's going to be the police turning up. The scream he lands in that, we actually had to turn it down for the trailer because it was just too fucking loud.
I had to reduce it by about 80%.
Yeah, so when you hear it in the actual trailer, it's 80% less than it actually was to my ears. I remember afterwards we just stared at each other in silence because I don't think you knew that you was going to able to pull it.
I didn't know I had that in me.
Yeah.
And when I saw the colour leave your cheeks, and then I thought, what the neighbours must think.
Yeah.
And I was a bit shy after that. I sort of went inside my shell. I was a bit like, what have I done?
Well, I have never left your home quicker because I didn't want to bump into anyone. But then equally, when I was walking out of here fast, I was like,
they're going to think
if
I killed.
I bump into someone, they don't know who this man is. They've heard a scream of the most ridiculous sort of sound, and they're going to be like, well, he murdered someone. Yeah. But yeah, I think that one.
Do you have
one
a listen?
for me.
Do you have a listen?
Yes, please.
Merry Christmas from Reykjavik. I'm Jan Rello, and I'm here with a group of elf believers who are protesting the new build of a super highway. It threatens to destroy the home of these enchanting little creatures. I'm joined by Igmar Sigurdsson, who is outraged by the proposed highway. Igmar, can we have a few words?
Yes, you shouldn't be laughing. They can probably hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Igmar. I'm not laughing. It's a very unusual story, that's all.
They aren't what you think they are. They exist.
Okay, Igmar. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everyone. Back to you in the studio. Hello, can you hear me? I'm Jan Rello, and this is an emergency broadcast. The idea of elves we have today comes from Norse mythology. The elves in Norse mythology were called the Alpha and were believed to cause illness, have strong magic, and be very beautiful. They are not beautiful. They are not friendly. They are real. They are dangerous. They are showing no mercy. Please send help.
I remember you trying to embody that character entirely. You were really committed.
Yeah. I dug deep and I was like, how would Olivia Colman play a journalist that's a bit upset that she's had to go to Iceland to do a sort of fluff piece on elves? And I really went for it.
Well, she wouldn't. That's the answer.
You are correct, yeah.
That's the answer.
And I think that was one of the first times in what the plots, in the sort of creative process of it, where I was like, I'm actually going to give this one some beans. And I really went for it. And then you matched it with that fucking scream. And like hearing it back there just takes me back and makes me laugh, like how much you gave it. And it was
chilling.
I was like literally like, go on, give it some. And you fucking did. It's great memories listening back to that
Oh,
one, man.
man, I love it. I was going to ask you, but it might be a bit of a self-suck, but what was your favourite ever Say Hello, Harry?
Man, so many. It's so hard sitting here doing the intro, and it's I try to stay resolute and on target and don't respond to the nonsense that you throw when
You
I
never respond.
say hello. Like I just try to like let it wash over me and be a pro and continue. But sometimes the shit you come out with, it's so hard to do. But some Say Hello Harry highlights got to be the Christopher Walken impression.
Yeah, babe.
Where I say hello Harry and you go, well, thanks for saying it. So nice of you to say.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, that one, I loved that because I was just not expecting it. And any one of the many off-the-cuff food ones told me how to make the perfect movie dip. You screamed cilantro, sausage pond log, playground sauce. There's so many. Imagine the best moment of your life is saving £3 on a fish supper, or I want to be someone's Christmas present. There's so many of them, man. So many gold ones. Yeah, it was hard to pick one.
It's a very fun part for me because they might not know that, but it's because it's live, and Adam never knows what I'm going to say. I can watch him tackle back the tears or try not to laugh or try to break character. So he just takes a little breath and then he moves back on to it. But it's nice to see him struggle because he never knows what's going to come out.
And it's this really strange unspoken game of you trying to ruffle my feathers and me trying to ignore it and stay to the script, to the plan, to the episode. And I think it's great because so many times I've had, like you said, I've actually literally like collect my thoughts and go, don't say, what the fuck was that? Don't laugh. Don't stutter because that was a good one. We don't want to have to do it again. So yeah, it's a great little insight into your personality, I think.
Sweet. Last one. I don't know if you see obstacles, but what would you say is the biggest obstacle that we face as trying to say become quite a well-known podcast?
I think it's that in its entirety, like any independent podcast out there, it's that getting more ears. I think it's
without begging.
Yeah, I think it's trying to get organic listeners or returning organic listeners. It's a tricky business, and you know we've had such great response from strangers all over the globe in season 1, and I can't thank those people enough. Like I adore you for giving us your attention and taking time in your busy live schedules to fit us in your ears. It means the world to us, and when we hear back from people saying how much they enjoy what we do, it's so validating. It's so comforting. It makes you want to do more. It makes you want to do better. Yeah. But all that being said, our biggest obstacle is just getting more. Like for this to grow, we need as many ears as possible. So we love and appreciate those who listen, but we need to gain more traction and listeners to get this dog growing bigger.
I worry that the biggest issue might be moving too quickly. It's like harder for us to grab hold of it because I think a lot of people's attention can be on TikTok or it can be on YouTube reviews where you're looking at the person watch something, reaction videos, which can be entertaining, but there is, where's the sacrifice? Where's the effort?
I think we are cinema purists. We love our films. I think there's cinema purists out there that are also podcast purists that do like to listen. And I think there's people out there that haven't discovered us yet. And once they do, I think they'll enjoy what we do. Or at least I hope they enjoy what we do. But certainly moving forward, when finances allow it, when the shitstorm surrounding Britain and cost of living and everything allows it, I'm sure there'll be a time where we enter into the video sort of scene. We'll start recording stuff, putting things on YouTube. But until we can do that, I think we just keep going with this podcast and just please anyone that listens and enjoys, share it to like-minded people. Like get us some more ears and help us grow, because that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, never want to beg, do we?
No,
we never wanted to overload anything we did with sort of beggy attitudes, or like me and Adam have always laughed at the people that almost act like they're celebrity. Yeah, almost, isn't it?
Hi guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining my page today. If you like what I do here, please click like, subscribe, give us a follow, and continue watching for more content. It's like, well, actually, no, what we're going to do is give you the content, and then at the end of a season, we're going to say thank you to everyone that's listened. I'm going to say thank you to you for allowing me in your home, feeding me, with lovely food, coffees, your time,
Cock.
great company, hot cock, just great times, together. So thank you to you, and thank you to everyone that listens, continues to listen. And as a one-off season 1 review episode, this is the episode where we do throw a little bit of begathy out, a tiny little begathon, and just be like, pass the podcast, like, get other people's ears on it, get us some more numbers, and help our audience grow.
Well, that's well put, but I really want to engage more with the audience, me personally, because they may not know that, but obviously you're the head of the essentially marketing. You do all of the Instagram and that. I edit the sound bites and I send you the sound bites, but Adam's the one that puts them out there to the public and engages with the audience. So season 2, I want to engage more, but I want listeners to contact me on what will be my Instagram page, The Harry Cut, Podcorn Kernels, The Harry Cut, and I want them to tell me their crazy ideas for stories and films, because then what I'm going to do is drop them in a What the Plot when it's my turn next season to do a What the Plot, but I'll reveal to Adam after delivering it, was that mine or was that someone else? Adam could have a stab at potentially who it is, but then I'll just do a shout out of the person who dropped their film or the film plot, because then they'll get a shout out. And whether that's what you're looking for or not, you'll be involved in it, because we're not in it for money. We're no interest in monetizing this. The more important thing for us is people enjoying our content.
Yes.
And the things I find laughter infectious. So when I listen to podcasts, what's really important to me is to hear people laughing and making each other laugh, and being a bit controversial but funny, but at heart good people or warm people. That's what I love about podcasts, and that's what I'm trying to sell. And that's all I want. Yeah, so I would love more engagement directly with listeners personally, because I've not been able to do that. We've sort of defined our roles quite early on. It's just better that I do all the tech stuff, editing and stuff, because I had a bit of a music background when I was younger, and Adam do all the writing stuff because he's a content writer, does love lots of writing. So it made sense that we just naturally evolved into them roles. But the reason season 2 is going to be bigger and better is because we're both going to be sharing responsibilities and taking it into the stratosphere, hopefully.
Exciting times ahead, man.
Exciting times. How do you sign off one of these dogs? What do you usually do?
We normally put in a trailer.
Drop me with a What the Plot.
God, the pressure, my heart just fell out of my arse then.
Yeah, man. But I enjoyed doing this today. This is great.
Yeah, it's a little bit something different to say thank you again to everyone that listens. And we appreciate you. We see you, and just thanks. We really love doing this, and we love to hear that people out there are enjoying what we do.
Brilliant.
Schneider!
Should we play again?
Si, senor.
On today's episode, we will be talking about what's popping, people. Welcome to the Podcorn Kernels Podcast. If you like your podcast to be fun, factual, and fully focused on the thoughts of film fanatics, or if you've ever wanted to hear songs based on the synopsis of all sorts of cinema, then the Podcorn Kernels Podcast could be the podcast for you.